Thank you for joining us, everybody. I'm excited today because we got my favorite comedian here, Sampson McCormick. He's here just gracing our show today to tell his coming out story. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Sampson, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thank you, MJ. A little bit of, and thank you for this platform. We need this just for our community, for Black lesbians, for masculine identified women. It's a platform. So thank you for having the courage to do that. A little bit about me for the viewers. I'm from round the way, and I've really embraced that as I've gotten older. I'm so laid back, so from around the way, and I just so happen to be in show business for 20 years. It's as a comedian, I am a pioneer. I was one of the first openly gay Black stand-up comedians in the country to develop notoriety for Black queer stories in the comedy genre, and bring our stories to the comedy stage. Also through film, through media. It's second to politics and religion, and I'm a little too ratchet for the church, and I'm a little too honest for politics. So the next best thing was media and show business.
Especially in the Black churches, like they get up and they just talk about like gay people and how gay people are wrong and bad, and half of them are gay themselves, you know what I'm saying? And like it was something I had to deal with when I was about 14 or 15 years old. There was this church that I used to go to, and they had this elder who would get up in the pulpit, and he would every Sunday, like he would kind of like oh shoot, I lost the word. I just had it in my head. He would kind of rotate. There we go. He would kind of rotate the things that he would talk about. So one Sunday he would talk about abortion. Next Sunday he would talk about gentrification, in the big white Caucasian political machine. And then he would talk about, like gay people, faggots and bulldaggers destroying the image of the Black community. So like when I was like 14, I didn't know what the term homosexuality was. But when he said stuff like kissing boys, I'd be like, oh shit, he talking about me. Like it was like that. So my friends, I had like one of my friends, he's a transgender woman now, would go with me. And then I just thought that she was a drag queen, and we would go. And one of my other gay friends and a lesbian, we would go. And so one Sunday, this pastor put all these sermons into one. He was talking about how gay people cause abortion and gentrification and all this type of stuff. And I think it was because we were like on the third or fourth row. And so he was just like, you faggots and bulldaggers, and somebody need to slap some Avon on you girls and this and that. Like the way he was saying it, like he might as well should have said bitches. Like he was really going off. And so like I was looking down the aisle at my friends, and they were just sitting there like with their legs crossed and smiles on their faces. And I was like, y'all know what kissing boys is, right? And it was like, yeah, it's homosexuality. I was like, and y'all are okay with that? He was like, girl, shut up. So the first time that I had to deal with it, like we left and we got outside to the car, and like I'm like, all right, so what did y'all think about what he was saying like about gay people? And my drag queen friend, she was just like, child, please, that big bottom, girl.
And yeah, that's what I do. And I'm very grateful, even though sometimes I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm very grateful. And I guess it just takes honest, vulnerable, authentic voices to do the work that we have to do.
Now, as a Black man growing up in the Black community, I've listened to several of your shows, and you guys are going to post some links to some of Sampson's work. So if he's in your city, go check him out. We got to support each other and lift each other up. And you said how you grew up in a Southern family. Talk about that. How was growing up a Black gay man in a Southern family and coming out as well? How was that experience?
So it was, child, I'm still trying to figure out what that was.
Okay.
Honey, some people say trauma. Some people say, that's a word that a lot of people use now as trauma. And I don't look at it as trauma. I look at it as challenging as it was. I look at it as something that made me who I am today, as painful as it was. The pain I experienced in childhood, and I had a horrible childhood experience, or it prepared me for things that I would face later through life, and it would help, embody me with the strength that I needed to take on challenges and to show up for myself. You know, I've had to show up for myself in a lot of ways that my mama never showed up for me. And that sucks, you know, but it's what it is. All that matters is that we're still standing. Right. So there was that, a lot of abandonment just from people who should have been loving me. And then there was the church, which, you know, you grew up in church. So, you know, growing up in church, you're taught that if you don't got nothing else, you got Jesus.
Okay.
And then they try to take that from you. So it was really about, it's been a long journey of developing my own family, you know, developing people who it's just okay for you to be you, and they know that you're being you, and they know you can't do nothing else but be you, and they encourage you to be you, but they also encourage your growth as well as a human being. I have friends who challenge me as an artist to grow and evolve, and really unlearning a lot of things that I learned in my childhood. Not only was I queer, you know, but we don't have the colorism conversation enough. Like I was dark skinned, and a lot of my features I've grown into, and I'm really growing a couple of when I get me a couple more dollars. But you know, I grew up in a house, and my mother still calls me ugly to today. You know, she sent me a text message not too long ago, and she told me how black and ugly I was and things. And so I've always had a very quiet, confidence about myself. And it was mostly because I've had to show up for myself. And I mean, think about, and this is in your book is right here in front of me too. I think about the ways that we as Black queer people, we have to show up for ourselves, and we learn how to do it on another level. Right. Because I mean, think about it, when your mama, when your daddy, when your brothers, sisters, people, they're that close. We come from each other, directly from each other. These are your first loves, and they betray you.
Right.
You know, you have to learn a lot of really painful lessons.
Yes, and I was just sharing with you that the most painful lesson that I've had to learn is that my family members are just people. And it takes the weight off of the anger and the frustration, but that disappointment is still there, very raw. Would you agree? Oh yeah.
I think there's a pain, a sadness even, that I think you learn to accept it, but I think we can both agree it's a heaviness that you carry your whole life.
Right. Yes, now, absolutely. I haven't asked anybody this question, so I'm going to ask you because I know that you're very confident and you're very open and honest. While you were dating, was there a significant difference in dating a Black church boy as opposed to a regular Black boy? I've seen so many dynamics, and please expound. Go.
Oh, honey, okay, so yes, there was a difference. One, we're gonna put this out there. The first one was that church boys are the biggest freaks you ever gonna come across. The biggest freaks. I'm not even gonna get into what they like to do, honey, but just know they like to do it, and they do it well. I thought I knew some tricks. They taught me. I was like, that ain't in the Bible. You know, but there's a contradiction that exists, whereas there's this yearning for freedom that exists in these church boys, and I think you share this quiet bond that exists. I think it makes the sex good too. I think it makes the sex even better, but we're gonna leave that alone. There's a quiet bond that you share, where, especially if one of you is a little bit further along in being able to accept yourself with knowing it's not something you need to repent for, it's not something that you need to pray for forgiveness about or try to pray away, it's just you, it can create a drastic imbalance dealing with somebody who shares your same spirituality, but doesn't believe in the freedom that truly should come with embracing the holiness, the divinity that exists in you, the one you as a human being, that creates a lot of problems.
And then like I had to deal with it some years later, like with my ex-boyfriend, because he was a crazy boyfriend anyway. But then religion came into the picture. So, like the church told him, like we shouldn't be together because, or they said y'all can be together, but y'all can't sleep together and y'all can't do this and y'all can't do that. And then I was like, fine, sleep in the bathtub then, fine. And so, he did that. Then it got crazier. They was like, don't kiss him, don't eat none of the food that he's cooking because he's putting demons in the food or something like that. And I was like, demons? I thought I was cooking with seasoned oil and garlic powder. They're doing some crazy stuff. I don't understand like why people, especially in churches, like why they get up and they address that homosexuality like we're going around killing people, like we're the reason why people don't have health care. We're the reason why people are locked up. You know what I'm saying? It's just like there are other things that you need to be focused on in that kind of institution, So my whole thing is like I hate when people do these types of things because they affect people's relationships with God. Like, because for a long time I was like, God hates me, And it's just like a lot of people, they say, well, I look at the news and I see these men in sundresses and stuff like that at gay pride parades. And I'm like, after 2 hours of watching, the economy be messed up and, 5-year-olds get shot and, people get killed for being who they are. I think that it's quite refreshing to see something as simple as a man in a sundress.
Who aren't in the church, I think that they're not necessarily spiritual, but they have a groundedness that a lot of the other, because they don't care. They haven't grown up with those limitations around them. Right.
And I for the most part, I've seen significant differences as well in church girls and non-church girls. To me, the church girls was like, this is how I felt like dating women that were into women who were from church. It felt like I was pushing a mountain and it wasn't moving. Mm-hmm. No matter how much passion I put into it, no matter how much, you know what I'm saying? It just was not going to move. And I think that that's a very, very, that's a terrible thing for somebody to have to live through, to have that connection, to have that passion, to have those moments of pure passion. You understand? And you can't do anything with it. That's another type of slavery, I think, in my opinion.
Oh, big time. I speak to our people in terms that I know they can understand. And ultimately not to try to change their mind and convince them not to hold whatever beliefs they have about me either, or how I love or how we love or, what they think we do. My thing is to get you to understand you need to respect me.
Exactly.
And then from that will come enough understanding, but I'm not trying to change anybody's mind anymore.
Absolutely. Now, I've had quite a few, probably all the people that I hung around were gay men. Do you see a vast difference between queer culture in the U.S.? Like, are the East Coast gays different from the West Coast gays? Like, do they have different mentalities? Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, so the difference between the East Coast and West Coast, there are two things I'm gonna bring up here. The first one is that just people in general on the East Coast approach life a lot differently than they do on the West Coast. I find it's grimy people everywhere, but I find that people are a bit more honest and straightforward on the East Coast.
Really?
Oh yeah. The West Coast is people come out here and they lose their minds. This is definitely a place where, and I guess it's the proximity to Hollywood, it's the proximity to freedom and liberal ideas that don't exist in many other places. And a lot of people really can't handle that. So that seeps itself into our culture. And I mean, you think about it, you have oppressed people of color who yearn for freedom. But a lot of them haven't developed enough, or a lot of them, they don't have the people who can, or the structure enough themselves to really be able to handle that type of freedom, and they lose it. So you mix that with white culture, which everything out here is so white. It's either white or Latin. There's no black culture in the West Coast. So you get
Oh, wow.
Black culture back east, Chicago, DC, Atlanta.
Mhm.
That's Black culture. And then another thing that I notice, a similarity that I'm noticing, is that Black gay culture is completely disappearing.
Hmm. Why do you think that?
My best friend and I were having this conversation. There was a time where you could go to a club on a Wednesday. I mean, of course, we're in a pandemic, but I mean, still, there were events happening, there were parties happening, there were barbecues
Yeah.
happening, and you can't really, unless you have like some gay friends that you run with and y'all visit each other.
Mhm.
Ain't no gay clubs happening, ain't no party, not no good ones.
Wow.
I mean, think about it. Mr. P's is gone. Phase One is gone.
The
Um, you know,
Aqua.
the Aqua, the Navy Yard, the whole Navy Yard is gone. So think about
The one up here too. What was it? The hippo. The
the
hippo's
the
gone.
Hippo's gone. Buns is gone.
Right.
I think the Delta is gone. Not the Delta, the Paradox is gone.
Oh my God. I've been to the Delta. I just said that out loud. Oh my God. Oh, I can't believe I just said that out loud. Oh, that club, child. Woo!
But I mean, you think about it, and it's sad because we got to have that. That gave us a culture and appreciation for where we come from and who we are, and the ability to speak up for ourselves. And I think about the kids who are coming up now who are gay. They don't have any of that. All they got is Instagram.
So this is interesting. Okay. So do you think that society, our culture, is trying to wipe out Black gay culture? And here's the reason why I ask is because there is no way that those clubs are just disappearing for no reason. That sounds to me like an initiative. And if that's the case, do you think it's happening because not enough Black queer people are speaking up, demanding respect?
I think it has a few things. Number one, I think it's because gay is mainstream now, and once you make anything mainstream, the culture completely leaves. The honesty, everything becomes very whitewashed. Voguing, that's us.
I want to corrupt you tonight. I seduce you with my form, with my creativity, with music in the background, in an outfit to match. You got it once. You don't.
It's our mini Hollywood. It's a place to win a coin, it's a place to win a trophy, and it's a place to also discover yourself, discover who you are.
This is such an underground scene that is so powerful because it's like people that have been oppressed. You're making it into like, we're not oppressed, we are fabulous.
And now they're doing it on HBO. Voguing don't belong on HBO. That's underground. That's ours. Drag is now on primetime television. And you got straight women, back when the clubs were open, straight white women coming out to see drag shows. And when I was coming up, that was something for gay men and their girlfriends. And lesbians would come out and see it too. But I mean, lesbians had their own bars. They would meet up. I remember in DC, they would meet up down at Anacostia Park and Rock Creek Park, and a bunch of lesbians would be down there with motorcycles, and you don't see stuff like that no more. So I think it's mostly because gay is mainstream now, and it's also because we as Black queer people, we wait until something becomes mainstream to support it. Like very few things can be underground, Black, queer, and happening. Like people can look at it and know, oh, that's good. But we have a very bandwagon mentality.
Do you think that there's enough proper or appropriate or real representation in the media for Black queer culture?
No. I mean, how many Black queer couples can you name who show up on red carpets together at the Emmys? How many Black queer couples can you name who are on Netflix right now? How many Black queer couples can you point to that are on the cover of Essence magazine or that are talked about in media? or that, you know, you can point to, and they kind of help shift us in a direction where we understand that gay people are human beings who have families and do everything like everybody else, except for we have better sex, but I'm gonna leave that alone. You know, okay. You just have to look at that. There's still not enough representation. They're barely checking the boxes. I mean, when I stopped seeing, and I mean, interracial love is cool, but whenever you see one of us on television, they have a white boyfriend, they have a white partner, they're at some white event. Like, you know, you never see. When's the last time you seen a black gay person show up at the BET Awards? I mean, Saucy Santana and stuff, but I mean, win an award, win a BET award, win an NAACP award. Like,
as far as the black gay community is concerned, who should a black gay man look up to? What couple exists for them to say, yeah, that's the Huxtable way? Or, you know, do you think, does it exist? But who should black gay men look up to today?
I think black gay men should look up to each other, because if we did that, we would develop a deeper sense of pride and respect in who we are and the tremendous challenges that we have to face and overcome to exist in society. But a lot of times, we're so focused on competing with each other that we fail to realize how strong and beautiful we are.
Yes.
A lot of us, and I was gonna put it online today, we've been abandoned by our families. We've been abandoned by lovers. You know, some folks have severe health crises and they still get up and go to work. You know, they still get up and try to love somebody. They still get up and chase their dreams and all those different things. And that takes, especially you're already black.
Right.
We already know stigmas and all that attached to black skin. And then on top of that, you're gay. And you're surviving, and a lot of us, we're thriving under the conditions. And I think if we really recognize that, and not just gay people, black people. You know, I was looking at this Twitter video the other day. I think it was yesterday. I might have been looking at it. It was just talking about the horrible things. Like, slavery was a lot worse than we joke about it, because black folks, we silly. We can make jokes out of some stuff. We joke about it, but it was horrible. They used to bury us from you know, they would dig a hole, they would put us down in there, and they would leave our heads out, and they would cover our heads in syrup and sugar and let ants and bugs bite the skin. Like, that's what we had to go through until we died. They would boil our babies. They would make us have sex with our parents. They would rape us, they would beat us, they would feed our babies to crocodiles. And so psychologically, that does some tremendous damage. And then another type of damage that just comes along with being gay, like the abandonment. Like, black folks, we've had nothing but each other. And so as a black person, knowing you don't have nothing but your family, and then those very few people that you have that you should be able to trust, they abandon you. Takes a lot of strength.
It does. It takes a lot of perseverance to get through something like that. That's so amazing that you said that we should look up to each other, because everywhere I look, you know what I'm saying? I look at you, I see you as somebody who's, you know, very accomplished and somebody who's going after their dream. If you're going after your passion, if you're doing something that you love, if you're you know, not just surviving, but creating. Like, that's the best parts of us. And there are so many creative gay men in the DMV area. Brilliant black gay men that I've seen. And that's all they've been just real catty with each other. It's terrible.
And that is also because we don't believe that there's enough. I mean, when you think about our issue is we're looking for opportunities outside of our community. If we came together and, you know, this one person got over here and started working with these two stylists, and then They started working with these two people over here who do catering, and then these three people, but everybody wants to be the it person, and we can all be the it person if we come together and play our roles.
Yes, every one of us has a different gift.
Mm-hmm.
And that gift all put together is the beautiful blanket over the Black community, I think, that we could create.
But for me personally, I think nothing is more devastating than having a mother who either disowns you, leaves you, abuses you. There's something different about having a mother do that. I think that's more impactful.
Okay.
Because I mean, I'm a survivor, so I mean, I always speak for people who've had to get it from the mud, and you've been not dropped on your face over and over again, and you've had to get back up, keep getting up. I know I have had lovers leave, my mom, you know, it is what it is. And I think considering how I've had to endure the type of pain and the all those other things, the fact that I'm not on drugs, like some serious, I'm talking about like on the corner somewhere, running through traffic with my butt hanging out. You know, the fact that I have, and again, this speaks to our strength as Black queer people. You know, I still wake up every day after 20 years and I'm still doing the thing that I know I'm supposed to be doing. You know, I still believe in myself. I still believe in the best for myself. And I have people that I know who, they got everything. They had families who supported them. They had plenty of money, or they had access, or they graduated college and this and that. They're a hot ass mess. So it really comes down to the cards that you're dealt as a person and how you play your cards. You have to be your biggest advocate.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say wear better clothes and date better men.
I know that's right.
No, for real. Like, I got a couple little gay kids and they be calling me talking about these boys, and I'm just like, child, let them go, honey. You won't even thinking about him in 5 years. And a lot of us do that. I mean, it's sure we look for a lot of different things in these little romantic situations we get into, but I think I spent a lot of time looking for what I needed to be giving myself. I looked for other men to give that to me, and they disappointed me every time. Now I don't want one, and I can't get rid of none of these fools. So there's that. But I think outside of that, real talk, just to answer your question, it would be, you're gonna be fine. You're going to be fine. And there's simple things attached to that, like trust yourself, believe in yourself, which I've always done. But I think I would have saved myself a lot of trouble if I would have really remembered that. And if you're not afraid to lose something, you'll always win. You'll always have it.
That is amazing. That helped me just right now at 38 today. Wow. Okay. That's amazing.
Now for the young gays, that's a whole different. Trust yourself. Really, really trust yourself. And have the conviction to do things that you believe in and that you can live with. That's one. And to develop social skills. Yeah. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier when we were saying there isn't. It's really hard to find community as gay Black people. And, you know, I think about places where I really learned how to be myself was with people who lived and understood who I was, because they live those same experiences. So that really taught me how to have conversations and when I'm around good people, and, you know, because I mean, think about it. If you grew up in a church or if you grew up in a religious family and you were only allowed to hang out with Evangelist Susie and them's kids.
Yep.
And they accidentally caught you playing with a Barbie doll. So you couldn't be yourself because that would get back to your mama. And now they're praying for you and they're whooping your ass and stuff like that. You never really learn to do things that make you happy and be you. So when I say be social, learn how to be social and socialize, like learn how to find people who you know will pour into you so you can pour back into them, and where you can develop really great reciprocal non-sexual relationships.
Yes.
Because everything with us, especially with social media, everything is so sex driven. Like I get on Twitter after 9 o'clock and I be looking, but still it's just like, I'm like, this is like what everything is based off of. And like my best friend, we've been best friends for 18 years and we've never slept in the same bed together. We never kissed. We never done any of that. He is my friend. And I have a few friends who are like that, and we need that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow, this has been such a pleasure for you to be here with us today. I hope to have you back and just, talk and everything. But I am excited about everything that you've done, the example that you are. And I know that it's not easy because it's not easy for any of us. But, my wife and I have done our best to make sure we were at every event that you were in DC to come and see you and give you some support. And I'm just excited to know a person that has as much exposure as you do, but is as humble as you are. That is rare. So I appreciate you for that, for showing me how to walk. I do appreciate you for that.
It's very important.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Sampson, thank you so much again for coming here on MJ's Quiet Corners, Coming Out Stories. We gonna have you back, absolutely. And that's all we got for today, you guys. See you later.
And get the book.
Yes. Thank you.